Let's go ahead and start in constructive rest. So you need a strap, potentially something to support your head. If you just feel like that's an easier, nicer, more comfortable pressure lying down on your back, a little support under your head, a little height there, but strap to come right around the bottoms of your thighs, just above your knees. And we'll let the legs just rest into the strap with the feet flat on the floor. We'll start in constructive rest pose. Okay. Here he comes. Mr. Ponce. Mr. King Ponce. Right, so you want to have the sense that you can feel the backs of your knees a little more open. So we're not up here with the feet, we're way more out with the feet. Not so far that you feel like your feet are going to slide out from under. Yours just kind of go along with your legs, right? Your feet are comfortably stood on the floor. And your strap, like big enough, open enough to hold your feet, knees, thighs in alignment with where you can sense your hips, where you can sense the hip sockets even. Let's start here. So like Shavasana, resting pose, conscious relaxation pose. We're looking to take a few minutes and just turn attention inward. To relax any effort, let go of any effort. To check in. Notice how you're feeling in your body here now. It's the end of the day. We are recording the session. It is the end of the day. So we're just observing the breath. We're observing sensation as it comes and goes. So let's take awareness from the head. We'll start from the head and move toward the feet. observing, perceiving any sensation here. So that might just be the pressure, the weight of your head, where your head is resting on the floor or on your cushion. So sensation of the back of the head, of having a back to your head. Maybe you sense temperature, the skin of your face, your scalp. Maybe you sense the feeling of your eyes resting in your eye sockets. Is there any tension in your head? Is there any uncomfortable pressure, discomfort, pain, ache? And then bring awareness down through your neck and your throat. Noticing sensation in there. If that feels like movement or pulse. And shifting attention downward through breastbone and the upper part of the torso. So chest, shoulders, collarbones, shoulder blades, the weight of your arms, then some of those upper extremities, weight of hands, the curl of your fingers. Just notice where you meet the floor, what contact feels like. What the movement of your breath feels like. Is it slow and very subtle? The breath, is it large and expansive? Focus attention even more downward. So through the bottom of the rib cage, into the area of the internal organs. So the lower abdomen, middle and lower abdomen. Noticing then the weight of the pelvis. And then any sensation around the back of the pelvis where sacrum meets the floor, where your thigh bones meet your hip joints. Shift awareness then continually downward through your knees, through the lower legs. Just perceiving anything along the way there is to perceive. through the lower legs and ankles, into the feet, into the soles of your feet, into the pads of your toes. And then take another 2 or 3 breaths. And then from there, let's let the eyes come open. And just reach down, bring your knees in, slide the strap off of your knees, your feet through, set the strap aside, come over onto your side. And then coming up to sit. Just bring yourself up to a seated position. Take up just a moment. Let one ear fall to one shoulder. Let the chin come to the chest. Opposite ear, opposite shoulder. Letting the head fall back. Bringing the head forward, chin to chest. Any comfortable movement of your head here around the base of the skull. Your base of the skull meets your neck spine. So today's class is the full version of a class that we started last week, but we're a bit stymied by weather and intermittent service for the internet. So that class was going to be, this class will be focused around just relieving tension, stretching the muscles through the neck, the head, the neck, shoulders, arms, chest, upper back, entire spine, after some just an unusual, out of the ordinary, out of habit, a lot of repetitive work in painting some rooms in my house. Okay, so the next thing we want to do then is to come back onto your back and let go of that little head support, set the props aside. And we're going to take the right leg over the left leg and the right arm over the left arm, right? We've done this several times before, but let's bring attention as much to what's happening in the arms and the shoulders when knees drop to the right. We come back onto the left foot. So let's let the shoulders fall back into a more kind of balanced sense of weight across the upper back. Feel what happens when your knees fall to the right. Just notice how the weight shifts in your shoulders and your upper spine when you twist, when you rotate. Let's do that twice more. Taking your time, of course, lingering where it feels nice to linger. We'll let the arms go. We'll let the legs just kind of unravel gently, uncross everything and come back onto your back. You just set a balanced sacrum onto your blanket and then cross left over right. Right, and the arms aren't really doing anything. Wherever they fall, it's just a consequence of what you're doing with your knees and your hips falling to the left. So we do that 4 or 5 times. I'm just feeling what happens to the weight of the arms and shoulders, head, the upper part of your rib cage. Could something just fall even a little more? Could you find a little more weight to let go of in the arms? And then return. Do 2 or 3 more. Maybe you take a big breath in, completely exhale. Once more. And then we can unravel the arms again and cross the legs. 2 feet on the floor, and then extend both heels out. Let the weight of the legs go, let the feet go, pause here, and take a breath. Okay, and from there, we're going to just roll over onto your belly. So come and just flip yourself right over. Let the toes go back. If you have your head supporting blanket handy, you can bring that in and just let your forehead rest against it. So you can completely let go of having to use any work here. And bring the arms into kind of goalpost arms here alongside you. Take your left hand and just slide it upward. Reaching up overhead, and then slide that arm and hand back down. Slide the right arm up. Right hand just reaches up high overhead, and then come back down. Let's take the left arm again overhead. Slide your right hand down. So reach your arms in opposite directions. And then return. Left arm down, left hand wide, and then down, right arm long overhead. Right arm slides up, and then come down. Come back to starting, and then again. Can you bring attention to shoulder blades and upper back? Should just feel very kind of loosey-goosey, slidey, glidey. One more each pair. One more each arm overhead. And then from here, arms like goalposts, just lift your head. Lift your head, lift your collarbones, lift your chest, and then lower your head. Inhale, lift. And as you exhale, lower, completely release, completely let go of all of the action. 3 more. Good, and then press from the floor. All fours, hips to your heels, child's pose. One more breath in child's pose. Okay, and then let's go from there. Svastikasana. So we'll come back down onto your belly. We'll take this front of shoulder, chest opener, front of shoulder. So my left arm is out. I'm resting on my left cheek. I'm turning over onto my left side. I want to try to just kind of move the shoulder into position that will relax any tension through the back of, from the back of the shoulder. Open a little space, create a little space in the chest across that high top corner, far corner of your chest. Let's take one more breath here. And turn to your belly. Turn your head, bring your arms down alongside you. Take a breath or two here. Pause. Good. And then when you're ready, let's come to the right side. Right, all of the attention, right, of this pose, right into the upper shoulder, upper chest, right shoulder, maybe right biceps. Notice if there's tension on this side, if this is maybe your dominant arm. Does it feel more? Is there more tightness? Is there a difference in the quality of tightness from the stretch? Take another breath or two on the side. Right, so we'll let that go. We'll come back fully back onto your abdomen, arms again by your sides. Pause here, take a breath or two. You might want to turn your head. And then come up. Press yourself back up. So you might characterize that as more of a deep stretch or a yin style pose, as distinct from like our more normative restorative postures where we're using a lot of props. We're combining those three things, some restorative work, some somatic awareness work where we're moving, but we're just kind of using the floor and using the weight of the body to find space. And then these just longer holds without props, longer stretches, deeper stretches, longer holds where we're really feeling quite a lot of intensity or intentionally straining or stressing the joint to elongate, to lengthen, to open and find space in a more deep stretch or yin style of work, right? We're combining all three of those things and just focusing, again, mostly around upper body, shoulders, back, neck, arms. Okay, so we'll go to the opposite of what we just did, into the noose pose. Noose pose are sometimes called thread the needle pose, and now I forget what it's called in Sanskrit. I often didn't like hear the name of this pose in Sanskrit hardly ever, because I think it was created rather recently. In fact, probably just in the last, I don't know, 15 or 20 years. It's not a terribly old pose. From all fours, we're going to come here again, right? No props, deep stretch, more yin style. We are intentionally creating as much intensity as you want by using this hand to really press the floor and lie in that deep rotation of the shoulders. How does your neck feel in this pose? This is the kind of the basic, level one, if you just want to do this kind of level, minimum level of just holding in the pose, hanging out here in the pose. If you want to go out and into more upper back, more back of the shoulder, we take this outside leg, opposite leg of the shoulder that's on the floor, out to the side. We just let the foot come out like a kickstand. And then I'm going to just keep turning into my upper back and I'll look more at the ceiling. I'm just holding the floor out here on my fingertips until I get really round in the back of the upper back and shoulders, and even the back of my neck. If you don't have any issues in your neck, right, it can be, it's just kind of taking some of the weight of your upper body to stretch into the back of your neck. This doesn't feel good, come out, don't do it. Some people even start to kind of float this foot up off the floor or roll and balance into their upper back, but you can just hold. Chin deeply into chest. Chin deeply into right chest. Very carefully and slowly coming back to where your knees are together again. Take one last little rotation, push the floor. And then come back up onto all fours and move your spine then through a little cow pose, cat pose. Pelvic tilt. And then we'll go into the opposite shoulder. I'm going to turn just so I'm facing, come out so that I'm still facing you and I have room to take my leg out to the side, but start here, knees together, 6 bones looking upward, using this free hand to help press you a little deeper into turn, into rotation.
You can stay, feel free to stay right here. Rest this arm on the floor. Very passive. If you want to play with just extending again, outside leg comes out. Just turn the head to look more toward the ceiling. More rolling kind of out and back into the upper back. Broad upper back, wide upper back. Feel more concave through the chest. Chin toward left chest. Slowly, come slowly back. Through the head, through the neck spine. Push through both palms to come up, and then again, breathe through cow pose, cat pose. Okay, and then grab a blanket again. And take your blanket into the roll up the yoga mat. Fold, roll it into a long, soft myofascial tool, right? That you could use. We're going to just roll the spine back and forth over it. Okay. Very familiar by now. Let's start at the kind of the lower part of the rib cage. And then just start to move from side to side. Excuse me, then we'll come up. And as usual, if you want to, just take it a little tighter. Roll again if you've sort of found everything out. And then we just go up a little closer to bottoms of the shoulder blades. So the widest, broadest part of your thorax, back of the thorax, posterior thorax. This is where you feel the most intensity, more or less, more than likely, I mean. So you come over onto your side, roll back, take your time, linger as usual, wherever it feels good to take your time. Twice more to each side. And then we'll come up once more. I'm gonna leave that just like it is, just scoot myself down a little bit, kind of hook that armpit back of the shoulder blade to one side. Start at the side and then roll across the back of the chest. Twice more to each side here. And then, once again, we are up. We're going to lie sideways over the bolster, and then just depending on time, supported child's pose with the sandbag across the low back. Or you could switch the order of those if you would rather have more child's pose and do child's pose first, or just do one or the other. Okay, in the interest of time, I just want us to have a nice kind of little longer shavasana. Okay, so I'm going to take the side lying over the bolster. So child's pose with the sandbag over the low back, right, is where you're here. And then you have that sort of weighted pressure, rooting you and grounding you downward a little more. Feels really nice if you are prone to, or have been in any way prone to lately, tension or tightness down here in the lower back. I'm going to take side line over the bolster. Which gets my perennial tight spot. Well, not on this side, but when we get there, save that side for last. Both arms overhead, or head to a block. I'll take that option up from the side. I don't need quite as much side bending this way. One more breath on this side here, wherever you are. Take just a few big circles at the shoulder. We'll come up and go the other way. And if you're in child's pose, you can just stay there. If that feels right for you. Just stay in a long child's pose. You turn your head, rest it on the opposite cheek. One more breath on the side. Couple of circles in that top arm at the shoulder. Move yourself from your side or from child's pose to come up. Okay. And then let's go ahead and let's set up something for final resting relaxation. And for myself, I want to, been playing with the setup of a blanket, the rolled up blanket that we just used. Right. And I'm going to have my upper back and the space behind my chest here with a little more support here for my head. I just want to feel a little bit more support for just a bigger, more comfortable breath. I think sometimes when I'm neutral spine on my back with just support behind my head, I still feel like I'm not really comfortably maximizing inhalation. I still feel a little bit, kind of caved in or a little bit kind of concave here in the chest. And so I'm continually like really pushing through my head and lifting my chest every now and then to get that big kind of expansive feeling breath. And I know in this final relaxation pose, I'm not really looking to apply that much effort, right? So if I can find a way to support what it is I keep trying to effortfully feel, maybe this will work. Let's see. So you can try this if you like. You can just bring that comfortable support under your head, or a little bit of support under your head and some support behind your knees. Okay, like a little yoga nidra, a yoga rest. Let's go there. I think that also I want my jacket. We had a little front move in this afternoon, and it was really warm and kind of balmy, humid, warm earlier, and front moved in with a whole lot of rain, and now just enough chill that if I'm lying still on the floor, I'm gonna be a little bit cold. So let's go there. See, that just took 3 minutes out of martial arts to just try to do some explaining. So I'm gonna be a little bit further away. I really just went upper back here. So take a moment to call yourself back to fully resting. Give yourself lots of room to breathe, lots of time, lots of space. Can you let go of any impulse to time your experience here? You rest in each moment. As you reach the bottom of your next out breath, begin to move your fingers, your hands, lightly circle the hands of the wrists, and do the same with your toes, your feet at the ankles. And then make your way in your own good time from your back onto the side. Rest from your side. Let your head be the last heavy thing to lift as you come to a seat. Your palms together in front of your heart. Notice what there is to notice even here, even as you close your practice now. The lingering quality of ease, of quiet in your body, mind, and your nervous system. Take a bit of that in with you into the rest of your evening. Call upon it in the days ahead. As you go about your days until you return once again to your practice. So thanks once again for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. It's an honor and a privilege to share the gifts of practice with you. So thanks once again.